on this right now. Let's first test this. I gotta test the video on this. Gotta make sure the video is good. All right, 1 second. Let's test. All right. Mindful attraction. How's it going, guys? Let me know how's the video on this. How's the video on this? We gotta make sure that the video. The fuck? We gotta make sure that the video is good. Let me see. Use absence, mindful attraction. There you go. What? That's not it. Okay, somebody check on my guy's channel. Is it on right now? Can somebody check on my guy's channel? Check if it's on. It's good. Way better, right? But I can't even find it myself. I can't even find the video myself. How crazy is that? Yeah. I'm just trying to start this and I can't even find the video. Audio is much better, right? Yeah, but I'm trying to find the video before I start. There you go. Now I found it. Okay. But I'm trying to find the video before I start. There you go. Now I found it. Okay. But I'm trying to find the video. All right. Now let me go on Instagram right now. Okay. There you go. All right. All righty then, ladies and gentlemen. We're starting this. This is the freeloaders hour, people. That's right. The freeloaders hour. This is how we run this show right here. There you go. There you fucking go. That's what I'm talking about. All right. All right. So how much this has? All right, that's good enough. Okay. I'm ready with page 115. Before, like, I'm on page 115. That's funny. You're funny. You're a funny person. All right, let's begin this, man. So we're going to be talking about the Law 16. This is the 48 laws of power. And obviously, I'm not going in numerical order, right? But this law is this, okay? And at the end of the video, I may answer 2 or 3 questions, okay? But I want to answer Guy's question, to be very specific. I want to answer the Guy's questions because, like, I need to make cut videos for the guys, to be honest with you. So it says, use absence to increase honor and respect, right? Now, notice how it doesn't say use presence to increase honor and respect, right? The way I see it is that presence is when you're preparing the dish, right? Presence is when you put the ingredients together. You're cooking the food. You're putting the side dishes and all that bullshit. Absence is when you leave it in the heat, when you let it warm up, when you let it marinate, when you let the heat do its work, right? You don't interrupt that process. Naturally, though, when you feel insecure, you want to go in the opposite direction. When you feel insecure, you naturally need to do things to keep the person's interest. That is your insecurity, right? But when you're somebody who's secure, you will know that there's power in doing less. You'll notice that there's power in letting the person come to you. You notice that there is power in giving the person space to think about you. Because the way people fall in love isn't really through reality. It's through an imagination, a fantasy. It's actually something more of an illusion than reality itself, right? But if you don't let the person's imagination do your dirty work, you're really gonna disenchant them simply because the more presence you give, the more calming you become. The more presence you give, the less of an aura you're gonna have, all right? So let's see what it says. It says too much circulation makes the price go down. The more you are seen and heard from, the more calming you appear. For example, this is why I started making videos once a week, right? Also because making too many videos, I think that era ended, to be honest with you, right? That was my strategy at first, but I got to slow it down because I want to be able to think more deeper about my subjects, right? But also when I put too many videos, it doesn't matter how bomb they are. If I put too much, it's going to saturate everyone. The less I put, the more I got to cut this fucking thing off. 1 second. I gotta cut this hair off. 1 second. This is too much. 1 second, people. It was annoying me, man. 1 second. There you go. All right. So the more, so if you're already established in a group, temporarily withdraw from it. It will make you more talked about. For example, it's very similar how you see it with like The Godfather, right? In the movie The Godfather, or even any gangster. Gangsters walk in silence. They move in silence, right? The more people see you in a group of, for example, the highest member of the group usually is seen the least. When you think about Michael Jackson, he rarely did interviews. When you think of Jordan, right, he rarely does any interviews. And that's why a lot of people as more of a, they see that, that's why he has more of a godlike aura, because you barely see Jordan. You rarely see Jordan, right? The people of power, you rarely see them really talk. It's that simple. People of power rarely come out. But the people who want attention, right? The loudest person in the group is the weakest, essentially, right? So it says, temporarily withdraw from it will make you more talked about, even admired. That's what Dave Chappelle did, right? Anybody knows about Dave Chappelle, right? That's what Dave Chappelle did. Dave Chappelle went to Africa. He left. Michael Jordan retired in his prime. He left, right? Like when you retire early, even when you're in your prime, that is the best time to retire, right? I had a friend, I still kind of do, who rarely, we have a social group, right? And not from, I have a few social groups, but one of my friends, I barely see him, right? We all hang out, but I barely see him, right? And you know what? When we see him, the group, he's like, hey, he's here. Why? Because he's rarely with us, right? So it's kind of like the more you with a person, the more common you become. That's what I'm trying to say. You guys have to realize the power of not being, of being absent. There's more power in absence than presence. In other words, you must learn when to leave, create value through scarcity, right? So let me read my notes, right? All right, my notes are here. Right here. So it says a strong presence brings honor, but too much can have the reverse effect. The more people see you, the less they respect you. Learn to withdraw at the right time before people unconsciously push you away. This is a game of hide and seek. You see, but the problem is that when you feel insecure, put hashtag Alexian. What the fuck? People, put hashtag Alexian. Put that shit up there. Put it up there. Put it up there. I want to see it. I want to see that hashtag. I want to see that hashtag, right? So, and that's the thing, is that people unconsciously push you away. Think about it with your parents, right? You know when your parents just didn't leave you the fuck alone? I'm like, bitch, leave me alone, man. Give me some goddamn space, right? That's what happens. Like you gotta realize is that your insecurity for comfort will sometimes sabotage you, because it'll lead you to sort of like be more on the offensive. It'll lead you to push more towards being with the person. That's what insecurity does. Insecurity literally breaks this law. Security will allow you to maintain this law, because when you're secure within yourself, you value being alone. You don't need people's validation all the time, right? But if you're somebody that constantly wants attention, you're always on social media, always posting videos for the attention, like I used to, right? But it was for the attention also. But there were two things why I used to post a lot. One, attention. Two, because I enjoyed the videos. Three, because I just had to make videos. It was weird. And four, it was my strategy, right? But if I slowed it down, if I posted videos once a week instead, it would have had a much better effect, to be honest with you, right? So learn from my mistakes, people, right? If you're gonna make videos, always think more long term. Go slower than fast. My opinion, that's me, right? So it says, just like a lover's presence enhances their presence, but after a while, it diminishes once you know too much of the person. The imagination has no place to roam, right? Because you got to realize, once you leave somebody's presence, you live in their minds, right? You live in their minds. And your mind has this tendency to exaggerate things. Your mind has this tendency to make things better than they seem to be once it's not there, especially if you feel a little empty inside. And that's the element that you want to use, people's imagination. You want people to know you through their imagination more than reality itself. You want people, and the way you do that is through your own absence. You provide value, you put the ingredients together, and then you create absence. You put the ingredients in the cooker, you put it in the oven, you let it cook, right? And if you don't let that thing cook, it's gonna go rotten. The good food you created, the good culinary art that you made is gonna go rotten because you're not putting it in the heater. If you have an amazing personality, but you don't create absence, your personality will have the reverse effect after a certain while. You're gonna become annoying. You're going to become too much of a know-it-all. You guys think that I am a great person, but the more you know me, the more time you spend with me, you guys might get annoyed by me. Trust me. All right? Now, everything that shines is gold. All right? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gold. All right? I mean, look like it, but I'm not, people. Okay? So don't get it twisted. All right? Don't let them see you or treat you. Oh, it says, but after a while, it diminishes once you know too much of the person, right? The imagination has no place to roam. Remember, love never dies of starvation, but often it dies of indigestion. That was a quote, right? Isn't that true? Love never dies from starvation. In fact, love grows from starvation. The less you give to somebody, as ironic as it is, the more they give to you. It's fucking crazy, right? It is crazy. But that's how it is. Michael Jordan retired in his prime. And that's one of the biggest reasons why people see him as one of the greatest of all time. Yeah, freeloader gang. You guys are stupid. That's why he's known as one of the greatest of all time. And he's rarely in the news. Now, when you think of LeBron James is an amazing player, but he's too much on social media. I could promise you, for example, that if LeBron James was rarely on social media, people would think about him in a better light. It's true. People would think of LeBron James in a better light because he's rarely seen. When you think of like people who people admire a lot, you know, somebody who people admire a lot is Charles Barkley. He's not on social media. When you think of Kawhi Leonard, right? These people have this mystique aura behind Kawhi Leonard. He's not on social media. The most powerful people are not on social media. I mean, at least that's what I think. I could be wrong about that, to be honest with you. Right? But so it says, love never dies of starvation, but often dies of indigestion because it's too much. It's too much. That's why restaurants give you small. That's why good restaurants give you smaller plates. They give you smaller plates. You guys got to use that principle, right? Like with your kids, you guys got to give your kids space. With your husbands and wives, you guys got to give each other space. Too much of it is too fucking much. We don't even like to be alone all the time. We got to give each other space from ourselves by hanging around other people. You see what I'm saying? Like you guys want to monitor how often you are inundating people with your presence, and do it less often. Don't let them see you or treat you like anybody else, right? Because when you're in somebody's imagination, you know how people say, if you want to be disappointed, meet your idols. It's almost in a similar light, right? When you meet your idols, all of a sudden you stop interacting with them with your imagination. Your imagination fixes a lot of mistakes. Your imagination gives people traits that they do not have. And that's something that you could use for power. You just keep yourself in people's imagination. Right? So don't let them see you or treat you like anybody else, right? And you want to know how that happens? When you give them too much of you. when you have too much presence in your life. So if you live with somebody, bro, you got to be busy most of the day. They got to want to see you. Like, nobody wants to see you once you're there. I mean, think about that. Nobody has a desire to see you once you're there. But when you're not there, that's when people miss you and respect you more. It's almost like a death before death, right? Once you die, your aura rises. Once you die, respect rises. It's almost like with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali was a hated person. But as soon as he got dementia, people felt bad. People sensed, it's almost like you feel bad. It's almost like once he's not able to be Muhammad Ali, all of a sudden people respected him more because there was some weakness to him, right? And when he died, his respect rose. When you die, your respect heightens. And unless you're Hitler or Stalin, right? Actually, when you die and you're Hitler and Stalin, you become even more eviler. You know what I'm saying? But it's a death before kind of death, right? And that's why I don't recommend people breaking up with other people as a strategy. I don't, but it works. When you break up with somebody for the sake of taking them back, it's almost like a death before death. When you break up with somebody, they think it's over. They lose hope. They want to see you more. And then once you take them back, it's almost like a dream come true. It's almost like a fantasy they had in their minds that they thought was never going to happen has returned. You see what I'm saying? Creating a pattern of presence and absence. It's death before death type of effect. It's similar to the law of scarcity in economics, right? When it's like with jewelry, right? Diamond isn't really that precious. The only reason diamond is precious is because they withdrew it from the market and they only allowed a certain amount of diamonds in the fucking market. It's that simple. You know? Just imagine, the more money a country prints out, the more inflation rises and the less value that money has. Simple as that. So the more of you there are in the world, the more people who are always there, always saying something, go in the opposite direction. Be someone that doesn't say much. Be someone that isn't always on the spotlight. For example, when you think of like celebrities, like Kevin Hart, I mean, he's nice, but he's everywhere. The Rock is everywhere, right? I can't think of a celebrity who's rarely there, but I can promise you that the celebrities that have the most power are the celebrities that rarely do any appearances unless it's for their work. Are the celebrities who rarely take up roles, but the roles they take is because they know they could do it. Not the celebrities that are, for example, when you think of actually, that was a bad example. That was a bad example. Oh, people are saying Frank Ocean. Yeah, Frank Ocean is one. Again, another one is Michael Jackson. Another one is Justin Timberlake, right? Justin Timberlake rarely puts out music, but when he puts out music once every 7 years or so, I believe so, right? But if you're one of those artists who are always putting music out, and that's fine, don't get me wrong, but it's gonna lose its aura. When you think of like channels like Vsauce, right? You know Vsauce? He rarely puts out videos. Or when you think of Drake, he rarely posts content on his Instagram, right? He rarely posts content on Instagram. But then when you see people who post Instagrams, like they have like 15,000 posts, it's almost like it loses its meaning when they post all the time. You know? It says, extend the law of scarcity into the skills that you offer into the world, right? For example, like me oh, another example of scarcity, how scarcity increases something is, oh, look at this. It says Childish Gambino got 3.9 million followers with no post. That says a lot. That is power. That is power. You know? Like, for example, like if something gets stolen, like the Mona Lisa, and gets returned, it becomes a valuable commodity, right? Anything that gets stolen, anything that gets taken away from the market, and people think they're never going to see it again, increases its value, right? When you think that somebody died and then they didn't die, for that moment, their value increases. You see, it is one of the easiest ways to increase the value of something by you withdrawing it away. It is one of the easiest ways to increase the value. But if you're always everywhere, if your presence is everywhere, you're gonna fuck up. You're gonna say something stupid. If you're always talking, you're gonna say something stupid. If you're always doing something, you're gonna do something stupid that's gonna screw you up. But if you selectively act, selectively present yourself, selectively speak, everything you do is gonna have an aura of power. When you think of The Godfather, he barely spoke. When you think of The Godfather, if you notice, gangsters, they moved very slowly. Like, you know, like how, for example, like I don't know how many guys, how many of you guys watch The Godfather? Right? How many of you guys watch The Godfather? Right? If you notice something about the Godfather, right? He rarely moved around that much. He rarely did. You know, he rarely did. You know, he'll be like, hey Tony, get over here. You come over here. He didn't move like this. He was like, I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse. Everything he does, if you notice, he rarely even moves. His mouth rarely even fucking moves. His movement is much slower. You know? He's not fast. And that's why he warrants all the fucking respect. Because his movement is fucking slow. You know what I'm talking about? But if The Godfather moved all the fucking time, people wouldn't respect him that much. But his power comes from his economy of motion. His power comes, his economy of words. He didn't talk to you. He just told you to come over here with his actions. You know? And that's how it is, right? Right? He had an economy of motion, right? An economy of movement, right? Everything was slow. So it isn't just presence in terms of like absence and presence. It's also just slowing the fuck down, learning to speak slower, learning to be more hypnotic in your voice. And that comes down to being slower. People of power speak a little slower, you know, and they don't even talk to you. They just tell you to come over here, you know? Like it's more, everything is more deliberate. Does that make sense? It says another thing is extend this law of scarcity to the skills that you have, right? Like for example, when me giving dating advice, right? I like to think I'm one of the best dating coaches on YouTube, right? And so that makes me scarce. That makes me more valuable simply because there's not a lot of people who do that. But if everybody was a good dating coach, I wouldn't have the audience that I have. Another way to show value is by giving a good blowjob, right? Learning how to give a good blowjob. That's fucking valuable. Goddamn, even the guys agree with me, right? With the guys, being a good value is learning how to lay down the pipe, you know? Having value is also having money. It's also being a man's man. That is valuable, right? Your skills could be being the best painter. Like just anything that is scarce in the world, get good at it, and you're gonna have value. As simple as that, right? Make your skills scarce. We see examples like Michael Jordan when he left early, or rappers who rarely do interviews, right? Michael Jackson used to never do interviews, but if you make yourself too available, you're right. All your power will fade. Make yourself less available, and you increase your value. Let your unavailability do your dirty work. Simple as that. Let your unavailability do your dirty work. That is how you want to see it. Let your absence do all of your dirty work. Simple as that. And if you let that happen, you're going to notice that people value your presence a lot more. Simple as that, right? But if you're noticing that you annoy people, if you're somebody who's annoying, if people call you annoying, if people get tired of you, hey, there's a fucking fly here that needs to be exterminated, right? What the solution for you is to slow the fuck down and remove yourself from the situation. If you're noticing that your partner is getting tired of you, that your partner is getting tired, is losing interest, that your girl is not something you're thinking of, right? What you got to do is pull away, not complain. If your partner's not texting you enough, not complain, not get mad, just pull away. Create absence, right? It will naturally enhance your presence in the person's mind. Simple as that. Just do it with your family. Disappear for like it's almost like you know how people are late to the party, right? You want to know why being late to a party is good? They see everyone, but you know who people don't notice? You know who people notice more? The one who's not there. And when you're late to a party and you arrive, they're like, oh, it's you, right? But why? Because now you filled in everything in, right? Now, look at this, right? Look at this about withdrawing from your partner. It says, given no reason for your absence excites even more. The other person assumes is he or she is at fault. While you are away, the lover's imagination takes flight, and stimulated imagination not help but make love grow stronger. That's why it's good to go on vacations without your lover sometimes. That's why it's good to have fun without your girl or without your man, right? Because it'll increase the love that they have for you. Right? Now, this is the reversal. This law only applies once a certain level of power has been attained, right? Once you have gained the person's respect, right? Once the person has an emotional attachment to you, right? But once people see you as an authority, then you withdraw. You don't withdraw before the person has an affection for you. You don't withdraw before the person loves you. You don't withdraw before people see you as somebody of authority. Like me, I used to make a lot of videos at first, and then I started to withdraw by making videos once a week. You first have to establish that authority. The need to withdraw only comes after you have established your presence. Leave too early, and you do not increase your respect. You are simply forgotten. When you are first entering onto the world stage, create an image that's recognizable, reproducible, and is seen everywhere, like Tekashi 6ix9ine, right? Right. And what happened with Tekashi 6ix9ine? He went to jail. Right. That's why rappers want to go to jail. When rappers go to jail, it's almost like a death before death. Sometimes going to jail is the best thing that happens to people. Sometimes being part of a political movement and then people throwing you in prison makes you a martyr. Sometimes being fired from your job because you believe in something makes you a martyr. It increases people's respect. Standing up for something you believe in and losing it is a form of absence. It makes people respect you. You know, like with rappers, bro. I'm telling you, with rappers, once a rapper goes to jail and comes back, they come back different. People respect them a lot more. Once a rapper gets shot, like 50 Cent, people respect them a lot more. Once a political movement is attacked, people respect them a lot more. Once Martin Luther King dies, people respect Martin Luther King more, but Martin Luther King is different. I don't give a fuck, man. Like, to me, Martin Luther King is one of my favorite people in history, man. I love Martin Luther King, man. Martin Luther King is the example of complete and utter bravery. Martin Luther King, man, like, he's one of those people when I talk about, I kind of tear up because of how much belief that guy had, how much conviction Martin Luther King had. It was just, they don't make them that way anymore. Simply because it's the environment that Martin Luther King was in that time, just it's not like that anymore in the United States. People like to think it is. People like to think like we live in the 60s, to be honest with you. Like, the Black Lives Matter act like we're in the 60s, to be honest with you. They're fucking stupid, right? But they don't. The times make the person, right? So at that time required a lot of bravery. Those black people, well, people say Malcolm X is much better. To be honest with you, I love both, to be honest with you. I love Malcolm X too. Malcolm X is a story of the redemption. Malcolm X was a man's man. That dude was a savage, right? I love Malcolm X too. But during that time, black people during that era were brave as fuck. They were brave as fuck, man. They were so brave. Black people in the 60s were so fucking brave. Man, they used to walk to peaceful marches knowing that they were going to get hit by batons, knowing that they were going to get bitten by dogs, and they didn't give a fuck. The black people in the 60s, man, they knew that they could just take the bus to go to work, but all of them decided to become part of the Montgomery boycott. All of them decided to walk in unity consistently. Muhammad Ali, I'm telling you, the black people during those times, the reason why they were brave isn't because they were better than the black people today, simply because it was required. It was they had no other choice but be united. They were united, right? United. There was just a different breed of black people during those times, simply because the times required it. Nowadays, the social justice movement is more sensitive. And they're not brave, they're just sensitive. They're sensitive. There's a difference between being a brave and being fearless and sensitivity. You know? The black people at the times, they sacrificed their money. They sacrificed being able to get to work on time. They sacrificed their freedom. They sacrificed their lives, knowing that we're gonna get bit. They used to walk to marches knowing that we're gonna get bit by dogs. Imagine that shit. Imagine that kind of bravery. That is unbelievable. And you want to know why? Because their leader, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, were fearless motherfuckers. They had the right intention in their hearts. People felt their truth. People felt that they were willing to sacrifice their lives for their movement. So when they died, their presence didn't enhance. They were already known as heroes. Those two men, they were impeccable in their belief. As flawed as they were, as womanizer as Martin Luther King was, right? Who the fuck cares? That dude was a man's man. That dude is to me, right next to George Washington, one of the biggest heroes to have ever existed in America and the whole fucking world. That dude was like Moses of the modern time. That nigga was like Moses. Moses, motherfuckers, Moses. Martin Luther King was like Moses. Simple as that. It's just to me, I cannot. Martin Luther King had a family, man. And his family's house got bombed when they weren't around. And that motherfucker didn't give a fuck. He was like, I don't give a fuck. Kill me and my family. I believe in this movement. When do you don't see that today? What you see today is people worrying about their money. What you see today is people, if they talk against China, they don't say nothing because they don't want to lose their money. It's just man, like people got to take examples from those two men, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. People got to take examples of those people. And when they died, their aura increased. But I'm gonna tell you something. Well, actually, what's funny is that a lot of people didn't like Martin Luther King. Actually, I forgot. A lot of people didn't like Martin Luther King. And when he died, is when people started seeing that he was right. Actually, he died. He heard many times. He heard the voice of God. He knew he was going to die. He knew his death was inevitable. Deep down, because he was always getting death threats. And it's not like getting back then, death threats were real. They used to lynch black people. When somebody tells you you're going to die today, most likely you're not going to die. AK tells you you're going to die, motherfucker, you might die. And it's not like you can die. You might die being hanged. You might die being flogged. It's not like a good death. It's a horrible death. Martin Luther King didn't give a fuck. He had an unbelievable, insurmountable, inexplicably sense of purpose. That is something that we all should strive for. Man, I love Martin Luther King, man. Don't get me started with that guy, man. That guy, he inspires me in such an unbelievable way. He's just a beautiful man. He wasn't calling out white people. Even though they were racist, he would love them. You could tell when he talked. When Martin Luther King talked, he talked with love. He didn't talk with hate. Martin Luther King used to talk about white people, call them brethrens, you know? Like, but nowadays it's a different. Let's not even talk about that, man. Martin Luther King is just it's something that you can't compare to that guy. And it's not, he wasn't a saint, but he was just a powerful man. But the point is this, man, when he died, all of a sudden, the people who disagreed with Martin Luther King saw his view. You know, all of a sudden, Martin Luther King, when he died, people were able to see his perspective, right? Once you die, what you guys have to understand, once you die, your respect will naturally increase. If you know how, for example, if I die, you guys are naturally going to exaggerate my traits. You know, maybe I don't know, I might be forgotten, right? But the point is that if you're an artist and you die, your art value increases. When Van Gogh died, his art value increased. You know, in Love and Seduction. So remember, in the beginning, make yourself not scarce. In the beginning, right? In the beginning, people are like, Alex is Cuban. Yeah, I'm Cuban. In the beginning, make yourself not scarce, but omnipresent. Only what is seen, appreciated, and loved will be missed in its absence, right? So if you can apply this law, you can't just leave. You know, it's like a father, right? If you want to make your child miss you, he first has to see you as his father. And then you can tell your child you're going to the grocery store and not come back. And then you'll notice that kid is going to miss you. But if that kid didn't see you as a father figure, if that kid didn't love you at first, you can't just go to the grocery store all of a sudden and come back. That's not going to work. You can't just go to the grocery store and expect your kid to miss you. He first has to know you as a dad. Does that make sense? People are like, bro, man, stop talking about my dad, bro. You know? All right. So, all right. So this is it for today. Okay. I hope you guys enjoy this one. It was fun. 36 minutes. All right. Tomorrow we're going to do questions. So you guys can call in tomorrow and I'll answer most of the questions. All right. I'm not going to be answering questions because I have a coaching call that I have to make. But don't forget, people, this book was the 48 Laws of Power. We're going to be posting this on Facebook, on my book club. So go check out my book club. I have other chapters that I've done. I've done the laws of human nature. I've done mastery. I've done the 50th law on how to be more self-reliant. So go check out my book club on my website. Okay. We have the Robert Greene Book Club. It's only $20 a month. $20 a month. Simple as that. $20 a month. And you guys can check it out. You guys can get the audio version of this, so you guys can walk around, you know, and stuff like that. And you know what? You guys will not be freeloaders. That's right. To all the freeloaders, if you guys want to stop being a freeloader, just follow me there, and you guys won't need to be freeloaders, people. Yeah, that's nice, right? Isn't that nice? That's nice, right? Yeah, that is very nice. No, you know, it's like I don't have to call you freeloaders no more. Who wants to be called a freeloader? Nobody wants to be called a freeloader. I wouldn't want to be called a freeloader, right? Now let me check if there's any new members. Oh man, no new members right now. Oh my god. All right, what else is there to talk about this, man? Let me see. Actually, let me read to you. Want me to read it to you guys, right? Look, it says everything in the world depends on absence and presence. A strong presence will draw power and attention to you, right? Like charisma. You shine more brightly than others around you. But at a point is inevitably reached where too much presence creates the opposite effect. The more you are seen and heard from, the more your value degrades. Always remember that. You become a habit. No matter how hard you try to be different, subtly, without your knowing why, people's respect for you will be less and less. That's why you get tired of your mom saying the same shit. That's why with NBA coaches, sometimes they have to be fired because the players are just tired of the same voice. You know, that's why relationships don't last, because we just get tired of people. I mean, it's that simple. And the reason we get tired of people is because we don't know how to monitor how much we're exposing yourself. You want to see yourself as a drug. See yourself as a drug. When I say see yourself as a drug, I mean see yourself as a drug that you have to give in doses. If you give too much of the drug, people are going to grow tolerant to that drug. That's why I only smoke at night. Because if I smoke in the daytime, I'm not going to get as high in the nighttime, right? So so it's kind of like control your dose. right? And it's very simple. It's all about being there and then giving them some fucking space. Just giving them some goddamn space. That's all you need to do. The truth is of this law can most easily be appreciated in a matter of love, right? In the beginning stages, the lover's absence stimulates your imagination, forming a sort of aura around him or her. But this aura fades when you know too much, when your imagination no longer has room to grow. The loved one becomes a person like anyone else, a person whose presence is taken for granted. If you want somebody to stop loving you, this is the solution. All right? All right, people. Anyways, this is Alex from Mind for Attraction. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I am going to be making another one. And I'm not going to be taking calls right now. But for the guys, please call in tomorrow, guys. I want to make videos for you guys tomorrow. So please call in. It's mostly women, right? I mean, do you guys want me to just make videos for women? You guys don't want that, right? So call in. like I'm trying to include you guys. You know what I'm saying? There's mostly women that call in. It's unbelievable, man. And you guys have a good day. Bye-bye.